All right, today we are going to talk about something absolutely fundamental to your business, building a payroll system that just works every single time. Getting this right is one of the most important things you can do, and we're going to break down exactly how to make it happen.
Let's just start right there with the stakes, because they really couldn't be any higher. This one sentence says everything you need to know. We aren't just talking about spreadsheets and numbers here. We're talking about the trust, the stability, the core of your entire team. A missed payday isn't some tiny mistake. No, it's an earthquake. It shakes the very foundation of your relationship with your employees. And that kind of leads us to the real cost of getting this wrong, which is just chaos. See, when payroll's all over the place, it's not just some administrative headache. It injects uncertainty and stress into the very air of your organization, and it undermines everything else you're trying so hard to build. This is one of those things that absolutely cannot be an afterthought.
I mean, just look at this. It's two totally different worlds, isn't it? On one side, you've got chaos, uncertainty, eroding morale. On the other, trust, stability, security. I love this way of thinking about it. A consistent payroll is like the steady heartbeat of your company. When it's reliable, the whole body can function. But when it's erratic, the entire system is at risk.
So, the big question is, how do we get out of that chaos column and get firmly planted in the stability column? Well, the whole solution, the entire idea is built on one core principle: trust. The kind of deep bedrock trust that can only come from absolute consistency.
So what are we even talking about here? Payroll consistency is pretty simple, right? It's paying the right amount on a predictable schedule without fail. But here's the secret that a lot of people miss. Your team often values this reliability more than perks or even bonuses. Seriously, a surprise bonus is great, don't get me wrong, but knowing deep down that your paycheck will be right and on time every single time, that's what builds real security. That shows respect.
Okay, so let's get practical. How do we actually build this system? It really just boils down to three key decisions. These three things are going to form your payroll blueprint. And if you get them right from the very beginning, you are going to save yourself a world of hurt down the road. First step, cadence. This is just your payment schedule. The most common options are weekly, which is really popular for hourly folks, bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, and semi-monthly, which is paying on set dates like the 15th and the 30th. The best one for you really depends on your cash flow and what's normal for your industry. But you know what's most important? Just pick one and stick to it religiously. Okay, decision number 2. Now, this one sounds so simple, but it is so important. You have got to align your payroll dates with your bank deposits. You have to make sure the money is actually in the account when it's time to run payroll. It's a tiny bit of logistical planning that prevents that absolute nightmare scenario of a payday with no funds to back it up. And the third decision is to automate. Please, just automate. Doing payroll by hand is just a recipe for disaster and human error. Using dedicated payroll software is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter if it's a general tool like Gusto or QuickBooks or something more specific to your industry. Automation is your best friend for building a system that's accurate and consistent.
So you've built a system, you've made your decisions, and you're done, right? Well, not quite. The job isn't over. You've got to maintain it. And a huge part of that is being compliant. And this brings us to a super crucial rule for the long-term health of your business.
So you see this number on the screen, 3 to 7. What do you think that represents? It's not about profit, it's not about growth, but it has everything to do with survival. That is the number of years you are required by law to keep your payroll records, just in case of an audit. Look, proper record keeping is not optional. It's a fundamental part of running a secure and compliant business, and your payroll system has to make this easy for you. All right, so we've covered the chaos, we've covered the solution, we've covered the blueprint. Let's boil all of this down to the one single principle that you absolutely have to remember. And there it is. Consistency is your greatest asset. It is more valuable than a clever marketing campaign. It is more important than fancy office perks. It is the foundation. It's the bedrock you build employee trust on. It's what builds morale. And ultimately, it's what ensures your business's stability. So I'll leave you with this one final question to really think about. Take a hard, honest look at your own operations and ask yourself this. Is my payroll system an asset that's actively building trust every single payday? Or is it a liability that's quietly creating risk? The answer to that question will tell you so much about the real health of your company.